Luke 14. And when he entered the house of a ruler who belonged to the Pharisees to take a meal, they watched him closely. In front of him there was a man who had dropsy. So Jesus asked the jurists and Pharisees, "Is it right to heal on the Sabbath or not?" They held their peace. Then Jesus took hold of the man and cured him and sent him off. "Which of you," he said to them, "when an ass or an ox has fallen into the well, will not pull him out at once upon the Sabbath day?" This they could not dispute. He also told a parable to the guests when he observed how they picked out the best places. "When anyone invites you to a marriage banquet," he said, "never lie down in the best place, in case a more distinguished guest than yourself has been invited. Then the host will tell you, 'Make room for him,' and you will proceed in shame to take the lowest place. No, when you are invited, go and recline in the lowest place, so that when your host enters, he will tell you, 'Move higher up, my friend.' Then you will be honored before your fellow guests. For everyone who uplifts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be uplifted." He also said to his host, "When you give a dinner or supper, do not ask your friends or brothers or your relatives or your rich neighbors, in case they invite you back again and you get repaid. No, when you give a banquet, invite the poor, the maimed, the lame, and the blind. Then you will be blessed, for as they have no means of repaying you, you will be repaid at the resurrection of the just." Hearing this, one of his fellow guests said to him, "Blessed is he who feasts in the realm of God." Jesus said to him, "There was a man who was giving a large supper, to which he had invited a number of guests. At the hour for supper, he sent his servant to tell the guests, 'Come, everything is ready.' But they all alike proceeded to decline. The first said to him, 'I have bought a farm, and I am obliged to go and look at it. Pray consider me excused.' The second said, 'I have bought 5 pair of oxen, and I am going to try them. Pray consider me excused.' Another said, 'I have married a wife, that is why I cannot come.' The servant went and reported this to his master. Then the master of the house was enraged, and he said to his servant, 'Quick, go out to the streets and lanes of the town and bring in the poor, the maimed, the blind, and the lame.' When the servant announced, 'Your order has been carried out, sir, but there is still room,' the master said to the servant, 'Go out to the roads and hedges and press people to come in to fill up my house. For I tell you, not one of those who were invited shall taste my supper.' There were large crowds traveling with him, so he turned and said to them, 'If anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother and his wife and children and brothers and sisters, and his own life, he cannot be a disciple of mine. Whoever does not carry his own cross and come after me, he cannot be a disciple of mine. For which of you, wanting to build a tower, does not first sit down to calculate the expense to see if he has enough money to complete it? In case, after he has laid the foundation and then is unable to finish the building, all the spectators start to make fun of him, saying, 'This fellow started to build, but he could not finish it.' Or what king sets out to fight against another king without first setting down to deliberate whether with 10,000 men he can encounter the king who is attacking him with 20,000? If he cannot, when the other is still at a distance, he will send an embassy to do homage to him. So with every one of you who will not part with all his goods, he cannot be a disciple of mine. Salt is excellent indeed, but if salt becomes insipid, what will restore its flavor? It is no use for either soil or dunghill. It is flung out. He who has an ear, let him listen to this." 15. The gatherers and sinners were all approaching him to listen to him, but the Pharisees and the scribes complained. He welcomes sinners and eats along with them. So he told them this parable. "Which of you with 100 sheep, if he loses one, does not leave the 99 in the open field and go after the lost one till he finds it? When he finds it, he lays it on his shoulders with joy, and When he gets home, he gathers his friends and neighbors. Rejoice with me, he says to them, for I have found the sheep I lost. So I tell you, there will be joy in heaven over a single sinner who repents more than over 99 good people who do not need to repent. Or again, suppose a woman has 10 shillings. If she loses one, does she not light a lamp and scour the house, searching carefully till she finds it? When she finds it, she gathers her womanly friends and neighbors, saying, Rejoice with me, for I have found the shilling I lost. So I tell you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over a single sinner who repents. He also said, There was a man who had 2 sons, and the younger said to his father, Father, give me the share of the property that falls to me. So he divided his means among them. Not many days later, the younger son sold off everything and went abroad to a distant land where he squandered his means to loose living. After he spent his all, a severe famine set in throughout the land, and he began to feel in want. So he went and attached himself to a citizen of that land who sent him to his fields to feed swine. And he was fain to fill his belly with the pods the swine were eating. No one gave him anything. But when he came to his senses, he said, How many hired men of my father have more than enough to eat, and here I am perishing of hunger? I will be up and off to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I don't deserve to be called your son any more. Only make me like one of your hired men. So he got up and went off to his father, but when he was still far away, his father saw him and felt pity for him and ran to fall upon his neck and kiss him. The son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I don't deserve to be called your son any more. But the father said to his servants, Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Give him a ring for his hand and sandals for his feet, and bring the fatted calf, kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For my son here was dead, and he has come to life. He was lost, and he is found. So they began to make merry. Now his elder son was out in the field, and as he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So, summoning one of the servants, he asked what this meant. The servant told him, Your brother has arrived, and your father has killed the fatted calf, because he has got him back safe and sound. This angered him, and he would not go in. His father came out and tried to appease him, but he replied, Look at all the years I have been serving you. I never neglected any of your orders, and yet you have never given me such as a kid to let me make merry with my friends. But as soon as this son of yours arrives, after wasting your means with harlots, you kill the fatted calf for him. The father said to him, My son, you and I are always together. All I have is yours. We could not but make merry and rejoice, for your brother here was dead, and he has come to life again. He was lost, but he is found.